Moin, hier ist euer Nerdmädchen. Willkommen zu Everlasting Summer. Und heute geht es der Frage nach, wie schmeckt wohl der Erdbeer-Bierkuchen? Naja, gucken wir mal, ob wir es herausfinden. She must have already been told what to do with them, as she gave me such an unpleasant look. Also die Zutaten, die Köchin, weißt du. I'm not sure how long it takes to bake a cake, but it seems she had to hurry. I just wanted to relax for the remaining time up until dinner. In short, I was so tired that I just sat on the steps and waited. Kleines nap. My eyes closed themselves. I guess I got tired throughout the day, that I didn't even notice how someone came up to me until they patted me on the shoulder. Hi! Miko was standing before me. Yeah... I didn't need a mirror to imagine the expression of skepticism and annoyance on my face. Oh, excuse me, I must have interrupted you. No problem, I was just sitting here. Oh, alright then. Miko beamed with a smile. I was just coming to dinner. I thought it's time already, and then it appeared to me that it's too early, but I decided to check just in case. Maybe it's not me who's mistaken, but the clock is... Moment, die Musik ist wieder so laut. Ich bilde mir ein, dass es besser wird, wenn ich sie runterschraube. Ich weiß nicht, ob bestimmt. Okay. Well, not the clock. Clocks can't be mistaken. It's just that I misread it. She seemed to be ultimately confused now and fell silent. It's still about half an hour before dinner. Oh, that's great. Then I'll sit here and wait with you if you don't mind. Frankly speaking, I do mind. Dann sagst du einfach. You know, I have some matters to attend to. Tschüss. I stood up quickly and left without saying but goodbye. Warum ist er immer so unhöflich zu ihr? Eigentlich hat sie uns überhaupt nichts getan. Yeah. Ignoring Miku as I always did, while she screamed something after me. Hey! Don't shoot him, he's a cop! Na, welcher Film ist das? A minute later, I got to the square and sat on the bench with the firm intention of finding a quiet and safe place here to wait for dinner. I think this time is the first time in the last 4.5 days when I felt like this. I wasn't just irritated because of some insignificant details, but indeed I was really angry. I've completely stopped caring about where I am and why I'm here. I don't care about how to get out either. What's driving me mad is that I always have to carry out some stupid task given by our camp leader, and it's always me who gets into stupid situations and sometimes even end up looking like a clown. Semyon, so fühlen wir uns alle mal. Das ist normal. If all of this is just some alien trick or a plot of the universal mind, they better consult with their psychiatrist. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fists. And most annoying thing is that everything that happens seemed to happen by itself somehow. I'd be happier not having to carry out bags of sugar that weigh a ton, but I have no choice at all. I mean, any other option would lead to so much worse consequences than a strained muscle strain or hurt pride.
Who are you angry with?
Rihanna was standing in front of me and smiled slyly. Nobody really, I answered absently. But my fists gave me away. Just like that.
Okay, it's up to you. You better tell me, why did you run around the camp the whole day with some kind of bags?
I had to, I replied reluctantly.
I guess it was food.
Maybe it was. Oriana was about to say something, but at the moment the bell, or trumpet, rang, calling the pioneers for dinner. I sighed in relief and quickly headed to the canteen, leaving Oriana behind. Du Frauenstehenlasser. Semyon, thank you very much. For what? The camp leader gave me a friendly smile. For the cake, of course. Sure. It was at the exact moment that I understood the true meaning of the saying, keep your thanks to feed your cat. Sagt man das so? You didn't tell anybody. This ought to be a surprise. Yeah. That's my boy. Wir sind kein Hund. And now off you go to dinner. Olga Dimitrievna waved her hand, pointing at the canteen. I stepped through the doorway slowly and started to look for a free place. It turned out there were plenty today, so I got the chance to eat all alone. There was fish with mashed potatoes for dinner. What misfortune once again! I'll be left half hungry. And didn't we have fish for lunch? I saw einen blöden Fisch. Is it a fish-only day today? Having pushed my plate with the fried sea dweller away, I laid my head on my hands and closed my eyes. But soon somebody came up to the table.
Hey, are you alright?
I'm fine, I replied without changing my position.
Just tired?
Yeah, a little.
That's bad.
Slavia said it seriously. Of course.
You remember that we are going for the hike after dinner, don't you? Have we prepared everything?
Wann hat uns denn jemand gesagt, dass wir wandern gehen? What? What? Where? I opened my eyes and lifted my head up instantly. Lena was standing by Slavia.
The hike!
She was surprised.
Didn't you know?
No. I put my head down on the table and covered it with my hands. If only I could sink into the ground right away. The girls remained silent. I was left alone with my thoughts for some time, and that was fine by me. Maybe I could have sat that way until the end of dinner time, but the strong voice of Olga Dimitrievna was heard from the opposite end of the canteen. Guys and girls, to celebrate the miraculous rescue of our friend and comrade Shurik, we baked this cake for you all. I lifted my head idly and looked towards the camp leader, but couldn't see anything beyond the pioneers' backs. A second, just a second. And nothing about me. Das ist echt fies, weil wir haben uns echt reingehangen. Sowohl bei der Rettung als auch beim Kuchen. Nothing about me rescuing Shurik or gathering the ingredients for the cake. As if that's how it ought to be. Well, it would be wrong to expect anything else from our camp leader.
Let's go. Oh, we won't get our share.
Slavia smiled.
Let's go.
Lena agreed. Yeah, sure. I got up reluctantly and tagged along behind the girls. As we approached the crowd of pioneers, Olga Dimitrievna was putting the cake in the center of the table. And now! Oha. Jetzt geht's los. The camp leader wasn't able to finish as Uljana rushed out from the pioneer crowd and dived into the cake. Dieser Kuchen soll für alle reichen, oder wie? She managed to nibble it a few times before she was pulled away. She was kicking and screaming. I stared blankly from the outside at all this drama. Alyssa smiling, Lena picking up some cream with her finger, all the furious pioneers around. I felt completely out of place here. I thought that if I closed my eyes now and opened them again, here I am, back to the safety of my apartment in front of a computer. I blinked, but nothing changed. Only the noise and the confusion became sharper. Uljana, that's the limit!
I just...
Well, in fact, behaving like this is a bit over the top even for her. Shrek broke into the conversation. Or is it a court-martial? Please, Olga Dimitrievna, since the cake is celebrating my return, it's no big deal. He hesitated. It doesn't matter. The camp leader turned to Uljana. And you! Today I'm going to punish you to the fullest extent, so you behave next time. Ich habe gerade ein bisschen ihre Stimme vergessen. Ich muss auch trinken, diese ganzen extremen Stimmen hier. Okay.
Oh, whatever.
She snorted and turned back. You won't be going on the hike with us tonight. Vielleicht hätten wir in den Kuchen springen sollen.
As if I wanted to.
I was more than willing to switch places with Uyana and skip the hike instead of her, but who knew? If I had guessed beforehand, I'd have been the first one to go berserk and smash the damn cake. After a couple of minutes of confusion, the pioneers started to disperse. Man kann den Kuchen doch noch essen, oder nicht? You have to get ready too. There'll be a line-up at the square in half an hour. Ach ja, oh Gott, nicht, dass wir das Line-up verpassen. I looked straight into the eyes of the camp leader, trying to express my gratitude non-verbally, but it seems that I failed. Don't be late. Uyana was sitting at the table when I approached her on my way to the exit. So, why did you do it? She looked very upset. But she had a right to be so. Eigentlich nicht.
I wanted to.
Uyana replied abruptly. So you're happy now?
Of course I am. And you, good luck with the hiking.
She smiled seriously, sprang up and rushed out of the canteen. Well, a little bit of luck wouldn't hurt. Walk and you shall reach is what exactly this proverb that kept whirling in my head all the way down to the camp leader's cabin. Somehow I just couldn't manage to argue, to pretend that I'm sick, or to just skip it without a reason. The events of the day taught me Unterwürfigkeit. Also, sometimes whatever was happening made no sense to me. As I walked in, I had a thought. Well, in fact, how should I get ready? Clothes? I only have an overcoat and a pair of jeans. Anyway, I forgot to ask whether it's going to be an overnight hike or not. I couldn't think of anything better, so I grabbed the sweater that I had on me when I arrived in the camp. The night might be fairly chilly, and shuffled slowly off to the square. All the camp was already there. Oh ja, hier ist echt was los. Die Musik ist interessant. Although it was about 10 minutes before the time Olga Dimitrievna had designated. I settled down near the edge and waited patiently. Night was falling. If viewed from the outside, what a fairly comical picture we would make. A crowd of pioneers lined up out of sheer habit, like they were awaiting a silent command from the bronze gender. And all this happening in the scarlet rays of the sunset. And there he is, waving his hand and screaming "Attack!" as rolling soldiers with red neckerchiefs charged into battle against some ghostly enemy. But Olga Dimitrievna showed up and started to talk instead of gender. It seems everybody is here. Great. I was so tired today that I couldn't even think about anything, so I ended up just listening to the camp leader. Now, today we'll go hiking. It is essential for every pioneer to be able to come and rescue his comrade, to offer a helping hand in the hour of need, saving them from a hopeless situation. We have to learn to do all these things together. A whisper that ran through the pioneer crowd suggested that most probably this truly epic expedition would at an end in a clearing in the forest several hundred feet away from the square. Somehow I thought so too. We'll walk in pairs. So, if you haven't chosen a partner for yourself yet, now's the right time to do. Pioneers quickly caught on to the idea and started to match in pairs. It looked like I was the only one without a partner. Slavia was enthusiastically discussing something with Olga Dimitrievna. Lena was with Miko. Electronic was, of course, with Shurik. Well, it might not be a bad idea to go alone after all. Semyon! Uh-oh. The voice of the camp leader pulled me out of my thoughts. I went up to her reluctantly. I see that you haven't found a partner. Seems like it. Then you'll join Xenia. She's alone too. I was struck with that special kind of despair that only a true loner can experience. So it appears that I'm left with a prickly librarian that I wouldn't risk spending a couple of hours with even if I was paid for it. Die hat uns übrigens auch nicht getan. Although we both seem to be in the same boat now. I slowly approached Xenia. Well, I guess we'll be going together. She looked up at me. Don't you even think that I'm glad? Said Xenia seriously. Why on earth should you feel glad? I asked naively. Never mind. It would be much better if you just shut up. I couldn't get any better than this. She turned her back on me and followed the other pioneers. I still haven't seen any special reason to walk in pairs. Anyway, we were walking on the well-trodden forest trail, and it would be quite difficult to get lost even here if I wanted to. Moreover, while we'd already been hiking for half an hour, we weren't rushing into the depth of the forest, trying to face all the dangers that could test our courage and harden our pioneer spirits, but instead were just walking around in circles. However, if we take it into account that Olga Dimitrievna was our chief, this hike could be compared to a hobbit's march from the Shire to Mordor. Nice. Just as Xenia insisted, I was following her at a distance in silence. The librarian seemed to be perfectly okay with it. Von wegen silence. Hey, don't you know when we'll reach our destination? Our what? The place where we'll settle down and set up camp? The whole point of this hike isn't to set up a camp, but the hiking itself. You don't get it. Yeah, it seemed that I didn't understand a thing about hiking. I guess you're right, but still, I don't know. She replied sharply and quickened her pace. I caught up with her and asked, Listen, why are you always so... I was about to say mean, but stopped short. I haven't done anything bad to you, and I'm not going to. She glared at me in surprise. Always so... what? Well, unsociable, kind of. Or is it something about me? Oh, cut that stupidity out already. As you wish. I decided not to start a conversation with her for the rest of the hike. At last, Olga Dimitrievna decided to end this Sisyphean toil. It's time to halt. The place chosen turned out to be a quite larger glade with a few tree trunks laid in a half circle to make an improvised arbor, with the remains of a campfire in the middle. Das sieht gerade voll fantasymäßig aus. Obviously, such hikes are a tradition of this camp. I was sent to gather firewood together with the other boys. It didn't take long because there were a lot of branches and logs of various sizes lying around. Eventually, Olga Dimitrievna lit the fire using some old newspapers. I was eager to know what was written there, but couldn't discern anything other than Soviet symbols. Pioneers took their places on the fallen log benches and started to talk about things. It seems that the final goal of this event has been achieved. The only thing missing were a pot of fish soup, aluminium cups of vodka, and a guitar. But I wouldn't be surprised if all these would appear somehow.
What are you thinking about?
Slavia sat next to me. Nothing special. Just enjoying the hike. I answered sarcastically.
You don't look too happy.
Well, I'm not about to jump for joy. Sorry about that.
Okay, I won't disturb you.
She sat with me for a while, but after realizing that I wasn't in the mood of talking, she left me to enjoy my introspection all alone. And all I wished for was to lie down in bed and fall asleep as soon as possible. But I was being surrounded by smoke and the useless chatter of pioneers around me instead. They were cheering and laughing and in general enjoying this warm summer evening. Oh, schrecklich. In the far side of the glade, I noticed that Lena was arguing with Alyssa intensely. Intensely, and Lena seemed like complete opposites to me. Slavia had left to go somewhere after our conversation, it seems. Electronic and Shurek were trying furiously to prove something to Olga Dimitrievna. Looks like I'm the only one who doesn't belong here. Das letzte Mal habe ich die belauscht. Machen wir nochmal, ich glaube, das war ganz interessant. Only Lena and Alyssa stood out in all the splendor. Well, of course, it was quite natural for Alyssa to be arguing with someone like that. But hearing Lena talk in a raised voice, I came closer silently, trying to find out what was going on.
No, you listen to me!
Der ist jetzt ausdrücken.
I'm not going to listen to anything. Really? Great then!
Alyssa turned away and her eyes met mine.
Ooh.
At first she obviously was confused about what was going on, but then...
So, you're eavesdropping!
What? Me? No! She began slowly advancing on me, and I took a few steps back. Lena, however, remained standing where she was.
Well, okay then, listen.
Alyssa stopped halfway and turned back to Lena.
By the way, did you know he was peeping on me today?
Ah ja, wir haben sie ja nackt gesehen, oder ohne Oberteil.
What? Peeping, and he saw everything. Is that true?
Sie sieht irgendwie erfreut aus. Lena wrung her hands distressfully, gave me a quick glance and started staring at the ground, as if she was cut off from the world. No, nothing like that happened. Having thrown an angry glare at Alyssa, I came up to Lena.
Why are you denying it? I even have a witness.
Your witness is even worse than you.
So, you stick to claim that it didn't happen?
I took a second to think. But really, why do I have such a pathological desire to exonerate myself before Lena? As though I vitally needed her opinion of me to remain unchanged. Though, how would I know what she's thinking? It didn't happen. Gib's doch einfach zu. Lena threw a baleful look at Alyssa and raised her eyes to me right after that, eyes full of discomfort and hope. It suddenly became unbearable to stare into these eyes. It didn't happen, I repeated less confidently.
Well, whatever.
Alyssa sneered from behind me.
It's up to you to decide who to trust,
she said to Lena offhandedly, then turned away and headed to the bonfire.
Is that true?
I felt uncomfortable, like a fish out of the water, feeling the urge to end this as fast as possible. And where should I have to excuse myself to her? Well, so what if it did happen? I looked at Lena boldly, but noticed only a bright sunset gleam reflected in a tear which was going down her cheek. Oh, was für eine Überreaktion. Okay, es sind Teenager. Okay. No, I meant...
You don't need to lie.
She whipped off her tears and tried to smile.
After all, it's none of my business.
No, why isn't it? But why is it? It's just that it was an accident, get it? An accident which was caused by Ilyana, nothing more.
Yeah, sure.
It's true.
I believe you.
Bestimmt. Lena was saying everything with absolutely no emotion, like she didn't care at all about what was going on. I was almost able to believe it, but her tears a few seconds ago... It seems to me that you don't.
What is this, some kind of a game?
Lena said quietly, but there was a hint of anger in her tone.
You really need to convince me of that? And even if I believed you, what then? Would it all become true?
I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I just want you to understand that I'm not guilty. I didn't want to.
Why should I care at all?
Lena shouted. I was standing with my back to the bonfire, but I was sure that all the pioneers had turned in our direction.
If you want to peep on someone, do it. Do whatever you want. But why do you bother me?
I'm not... But really, from any point of view, it looked that way. I'm trying to excuse myself to Lena with no success. Like a guilty child, or maybe even like a husband who slipped up.
Just so you know, I don't care.
Lena turned away and headed back to the camp at a fast walk. I didn't try to stop her, but it certainly wasn't the best solution. She's on the edge, no attempt to convince her or appeal to reason would help. Since when is she like that? Screaming that way, getting mad? With these thoughts in mind, I returned to the bonfire and sat down on a wooden log. So, nachdem wir es gerade so kolossal verkackt haben, machen wir mal einen Schnitt und gucken mal beim nächsten Mal, ob wir sie irgendwie wieder zu uns rumkriegen können. Das war's von einem Nerdmädchen.